Mga microphone na taas! Baba na mga microphone na taas!
Ang nakita nyo ngayong umaga at ngayong hapon ay obvious na plan B ng iilan sa Liberal Party para pabaksakin ang ating Pangulo para bumalik sila sa kapangyarihan. Very obvious na ang witness ay hindi nagsasabi ng totoo. Napakaraming hearing na naganap sa buong Pilipinas sa Kongreso, Senado. Kayo ang witness, lalo pagkukunti ang senador, pwede magtanong. Pero bakit pagdating sa akin ay bawal daw magtanong at hindi pwedeng pahabain? At bukod doon ay i-intimidate pa tayo. No? Ngayon lang po ako nakakita na kapwa senador, sasabihan mo na hindi kita papapormahin, tapos pipigilan nila magsalita. No? So I do not know what is becoming of the Senate except for a battering ram to place their own candidate, to place their own party mate sa palasyo. It's a pity, not because of Duterte. Hindi na si Duterte masasaktan dito. Ang buong Pilipinas na, it will hurt our investments, our trade, our tourism strategy sapagkat panay kasinungalingan na ang pinapalabas dito. So I hope na ang plenaryo ay gumawa na ng pagkilos dito at pag-usapan na to sa caucus man o sa session. Kasi ang witness, hindi man basta papayagan yan nang hindi mo muna i-check ng buong katotohanan. Let me point out one point sa inyo. 2014 daw, nandyan na daw yan sa Witness Protection Program. Sino ba ang secretary ng Department of Justice nung panahon na yun? Hindi ba si Senator De Lima? Bakit hindi nila pinailan ng kaso si Mayor Duterte noon? Bakit nung panahon na si Senator De Lima ang nasa loob ng DOJ, wala siyang lakas ng loob sabihin lahat ito? Pero ngayon, nabaliktad na ang DOJ ay appointee ni President Duterte, ngayon maglalakas ng loob. Parang hindi ko talaga makita kung paano papayagan ni Senator De Lima at ng ibang senador mag-present ng witness na ganyan, na palpak na, hindi na nagsasabi ng katotohanan, halata pa na nag-iimbento ng mga kung ano-ano. So it's a very sad day for the Philippine Senate.
Senator, nag-usap kayo ni Trillanes, Senator Trillanes. Ano yung nag-exchange?
No, alam mo, yung init ng ulo niya sa mga hearing, normal yun eh. Naging kasama ko yan, ika nga sa hirap at ginawa, minsan malamig ulo, minsan mainit ulo. Nagulat lang ako dahil palalayasin niya ako sa hearing or patitigilin dahil hindi daw ako membro. Pero ang hindi niya alam, kasama ang privilege speech ko sa agenda. So for that purpose, membro ako ng committee. So nung ayaw niya ako pasalitain, so tumitingin ako kay chairman, biglang tumingin sa akin, tapos sabi niya sa akin, hindi talaga kita papopormahin dito. Sabi ko, ano? Sabi niya, baka akala mo papopormahin kita dito. So sabi ko sa kanya, bakit? Senador din ako, halal ako ng tao eh. Ano sinasabi mo? Hindi ako pwede magsalita dito? So ang susunod niya sinabi, ano? Yung mga pangarap mo, natutupad na ba? So hindi ko na alam kung nasaan nanggaling yun. So sabi ko sa kanya, anong mga pangarap? Ano-anong sinasabi mo? Eh, hearing ang pinag-uusapan natin. So sabi niya, you're protecting evil. Sabi ko, I'm not protecting evil. So sabi niya, hindi, you're into evil na. So sabi ko, you're evil. So hindi ko nga maintindihan. Kung hindi, isa lang intensyon, mawala yung aking focus sa witness. Kasi habang nakafocus ako sa witness, makikita ng tao kung nagsasabi ng totoo o hindi. Nakita niyo naman po, pangatlong hearing na to. Lahat ng oras binibigay natin sa kanila, lalo kay Senator De Lima, sa kanyang witness. Bakit ako, 45 minutes, 55 minutes hindi maibigay para mahimay ang witness na to, no? So, hindi ko na malaman kung Committee on Justice ba to or Committee to remove Duterte and place the Vice President in power. I'm not saying the Vice President is involved, no? But definitely some senators, no, more than 2, are involved.
Ayaw niyo po mag-agree sa executive session?
That's not the point eh. Hindi ko namang gusto malaman talaga yung facts. Gusto ko testingin. Kasi nakakapagtaka. Wala daw siya radyo, wala daw siyang TV, wala daw siyang dyaryo. pero nakalapit siya sa senador. So gusto ko malaman, may nag-coach ba sa kanyang senador, may kumuha ba sa kanya, anong pinangako sa kanya, doon ako papunta. Eh bakit natin gagawin ang executive session doon? So I will repeat my question. Bakit paglabang kay Duterte, open session ka agad? Kahit
dahil nga po mga detalye, lalo na tungkol sa dates, ay yun ang doon siya may problema sa pag-clarify o pag-confirm ng dates. Pero yung mga insidente po, nakikita naman natin na sigurado naman siya din sa mga kinikwento niya. And ang balak ko nga po ay, which I mentioned earlier, ay pagagawan ko po yan ng judicial affidavit. I will ask a lawyer to handle the taking of his testimony, the taking of his accounts, and convert it into a judicial affidavit. Para yung mga detalye na halimbawa nakalimutan niyang sabihin, o kaya yung mga detalye na gusto niyang i-clarify kasi naalala na niya kung alin ang tama, ay pwede mong ilagay dyan sa judicial affidavit. That is also for future proceedings, legal, judicial, etc.
What do you think are the chances he'll be granted legislative immunity given that Duterte has a lot of allies in the Senate and the Senate President?
We're hoping that we will grant that the majority of the Senate would be able to grant legislative immunity dahil nga ho hindi madali na magtamaw, hindi madali na mag-surface ng ganyan at sasabihin kung ano ang alam niya. Although hindi naman ho ako nahirapan sa pagkumbinsi sa kanya dahil siya naman talaga ang nagpasabi na gusto na niyang lumabas. At ikwento na niya yung alam niya. Pero syempre, hindi madali yung ginawa niya na biro mo sa ganitong proceedings on national TV and pwede pang may mga international dyan na siniwalat niya. Nagkaroon siya ng mga ganyang mga shocking revelations.
Ma'am, hindi pa ako sa Senator Coco. The Sergeant at Arms taking care of him.
Yes, security. That's the protection from the institution. It would be hindi naman tama na hindi namin siya bibigyan. And I will insist on that. Dahil kanino ba siya magpapa-secure? Alangan naman sa PNP, alangan naman sa NBI. Meron din siyang kwento tungkol sa NBI. Kanino siya magpapa-secure? So it's an institutional protection ang ibibigay sa kanya.
Starting today, you'll be staying
Yes,
here.
yes. Well, pending the approval of the Senate President, then I have talked to the Sergeant at Arms that they should secure him.
Ma'am, balak daw kung balikan, ma'am, ng pamilya Duterte, may statement po ngayon, yung inyo pong testigo, and then balak daw po kayong idamay doon sa reklamo.
Ano kaya idadamay nila sa akin na ginagawa ko lang ang trabaho ko? Matagal na nila akong dinadamay, matagal na nila akong pinag-aakusahan ng kasinungalingan na involved daw ako sa drugs. So hindi na ako magtataka kung yan ang plano nila na idadawit ako dito sa pag-produce ng excuse me, I lack sleep. Pag-produce ng witness na ang feeling ko po mas magiging I would not be able to live with myself kung hindi ko ho pina-testify itong witness na siya talaga ang nagpasabi sa akin, nagpadala siya ng emissary na gusto na niyang lumabas. So it would be dereliction, it would be a sin of omission on my part. Na merong nagvo-volunteer na walang pakialam kung ano na mangyayari sa kanya, pwede na daw siyang mamatay anytime. Basta masabi niya ang mga nalalaman niya, tapos hindi ko po siya ihaharap.
Sabi yung judicial affidavit for future proceedings. Of course,
Well, you will, yes, of course, the president, we recognize that the president has immunity. Now, but ang dami naman po niyang mga binanggit, including yung mga supposedly mga kasamahan niya sa Lambada Boys, sa Davao Death Squad, and even the Vice Mayor. So yun ho, we will really refer his testimony, isasama ho namin dyan yung gagawing judicial affidavit to the proper authorities, including the office of the Ombudsman.
Please, for the regard for the international media, some people say that Philippines is like a stateless country. What do you think about that?
I would not say that. We are still a state, we are a country, we are a Republican democratic country. Now, even if, to me personally and as an elected official, this spate of killings is totally unacceptable. The state, we still have a state, we still have a government, it's still a functioning state. Only that, you know, it's being tainted because of this this phenomenon of killings. That's why we're doing this. We're doing a Senate inquiry because, well, I think they themselves would admit that even after our first and second hearings, lalo pang dumadami, or more, there are more, I'm sorry, more killings. We're seeing more killings. So we should get to the bottom of things. We should know exactly what's happening, because the so-called war on drugs, well, of course, it is a very legitimate action on the part of government, and we laud the government for doing that, for fighting this drug menace. But we are questioning the approach. Up to when will they stop these killings? Yes, there are certain killings that are justified, but I do not believe that all of these killings are justified killings, especially those killings with unidentified assailants. So who could be behind these killings? Who are these so-called vigilantes? Now, that witness was able to paint a picture of the Davao phenomenon. When the killings in Davao were rampant, which necessitated the intervention of the Commission on Human Rights in 2009. And I should say also that those witnesses, or some of the witnesses that we were able to access when we were doing the inquiry in Davao, because we had a series of hearings during that inquiry, March, April, May, September 2009. Although no one publicly testified on the existence of the DDS, because the officials that we summoned, including barangay chairmen, they were evasive, or they were saying there's no such thing, we do not believe that there is the Davao Death Squad. But some of the witnesses we were able to access sort of narrated a similar story as that one we heard from Mr. Bato-Bato.
And just a follow-up question, what are your main difficulties to investigate all those cases?
The lack of willing witnesses. Some of them acceded to being interviewed by us, but they refused to publicly come out in the open. They refused to execute affidavits.
Ma'am, can you tell us just exactly how this exchange came about? How long did it take this emissary talking to you and this witness finally coming out? When did it start? A week ago or 2 days ago?
Let me remember. It was already after my birthday. My birthday was August 27th.
And then, how did you exchange like calls or text messages? Or was it a personal talk with the emissary?
Yes, I had to discreetly meet with the emissary, and then sinabi nga niya yon na itong dating nasa WPP na patuloy pa rin na nagtatago, transfer from one place to another, ay gusto na lumabas.
You said you will get information affidavit from the witness. What steps are you taking to validate his testimony? He mentioned many details like tutorial places.
Yes.
So how
Yes, papalagay, we will put that, we will try to have that placed, the details that he could remember, and I will continue to advise him when he executes the judicial affidavit that he should stick to his personal knowledge, and he should clarify whether it's personal knowledge or naririnig lang niya, and then if he's not sure about dates, he should do so. But there were dates na parang wala namang question. Yes.
But will you go outside of that, like make a parallel validation on what he's gonna put in his
Well, there are certain kung merong ganon, halimbawa mapatunayan ng isang pangulo ay ganong may criminal mind na ay dahil because of that doctrine ay hindi siya makakasuhan. It's just an academic discussion. Shall we rethink or revisit? Kasi what is the very rationale for immunity from suit of a sitting president? Para hindi siya na-distract sa trabaho niya, lalo na kung may mga harassment suits, and then madidistract siya. How can he perform effectively his role, his duty, his mandate as a president kung we allow the filing of suits against a sitting president? That's the very rationale. Pero kung meron nga tayong extreme situation, yung example ko kanina, then what is the remedy of the people? Kasi kung tatanungin nyo ako, ano ba mangyayari after this? Sa totoo lang po, hindi ko alam. Ang Diyos lang siguro makakaalam kung ano ang susunod dito. Kasi wala naman ako minumungkahi na palitan natin siya o i-impeach natin siya. Ang pinaka-agenda lang po dito, since dumulog na sa akin yung testigo na yan at gusto na niyang magsalita, isiwalat yung alam niya, I feel the people deserve to know kung ano ang alam niya. That's it. That's all. Wala na po tayong ibang tinitingnan na agenda dyan.
Pero with the presidential immunity from suit, can this not go beyond his term?
Yeah, depende po yan sa depende po yan sa interpretasyon. Tingnan ho natin ang grounds ng well, of course, the immunity from suit, no, from criminal, from civil suits. Now yung mga kasi ang pwede lang natin mapaalis ang isang sitting president is impeachment. Ayaw ko namang imungkahi mga other means, no? Ayaw ko po 'yon. Wala po sa ko 'yon. That's why I'm really scared also. Na ano na naman mangyayari sa akin ngayon. Hindi ko na naman alam kung ano mangyayari sa akin ngayon. Alam niyo naman na they've been throwing many things at me, including the kitchen sink. And then lalo na siguro ngayon.
Kailangan pa bang may mag-corroborate yung testimony?
Depende po yan sa evaluation. Pero parang may nabanggit siya nung nakausap ko nga, nung dinulog siya ng kanyang emissary, na siguro naman po, pag lumabas ako, baka naman meron pang iba dyan na mga dati kong kasamahan na magsalita na rin.
Ma'am, you said you're not willing to go to the limits of impeachment. What is this offense considered?
Just look at the Constitution. Ano ba yung mga grounds sa Constitution? This is academic discussion again. I don't want to be misunderstood because I don't have such an agenda. Look at the grounds. Ano ba yung mga grounds?
Pero ma'am, kung sabi niyo na yung pattern, ma'am, sa Davao nangyayari usually. Ma'am, can you give the conclusion now? Can you conclude now, ma'am, na based sa pattern, yung nangyayari nationwide ay dahil sa utos ng Pangulo?
I cannot make such a definitive conclusion because I really do not know. Ang importante dito ay nakikita natin yung pattern. And hindi ko naman po sinasabi na yung mga dating ginagawa ng mga DDS as narrated by our witness ay ganun lahat ang ginagawa at the national level. Parang we are trying to see here na baka nga naman dyan sa mga killings na yan, merong numero dyan, merong, I don't know whether it's 50%, less than 50%, or majority of these killings, na ganun ang pattern. Na kasi sinasabi nga niya na yung DDS, actually, mga police din. Although, may mga tumutulong yung sinasabi niyang rebel returnees. That's why I had to ask about those rebel returnees, ano exactly yung mga naging role nila.
Kasi ma'am, kung ganang pattern, who's giving the orders, ma'am?
Your guess is as good as mine. I don't want to make an outright accusation here. Kasi wala naman yan sa knowledge ko, wala naman yan sa personal knowledge ko. May mga kwinento ang ating testigo. So bahala po tayo mag-discern. Posible kaya yun na ganun din ang nangyayari ngayon. Kasi sa ngayon, wala pa tayong ganong walang nagsasabi pa, walang nagtuturo, na ganyan din ang ginagawa ngayon. Pero yung mga witnesses nga naming iba, like for example, yung una naming na-present, yung pangalawa, and then yung iba pa, ilan-ilan sa mga iba pang ipipresent pa namin, ay yung nagpapakita nga na ilan sa mga patayan na yan ay kagagawan din ng mga polis mismo.
Ma'am, significant po ba yung presence ni General Bato, at director siya dati ng sa Davao City, police chief siya ng Davao City at ngayon chief of police siya?
Well, General Bato, General De La Rosa was invited to come to again appear at today's hearing. Now, the witness has volunteered to testify today. Now, syempre si General Bato, dati nga siyang PAOK-TF and then naging police director siya ng Davao. That's why I had to ask him also about the DDS. Although dininay nga niya na there is such a thing or a group called DDS.
Magkakaroon pa po ma'am na executive session. Kailan po yung next?
Itingnan ho namin kasi talagang alam ko sensitibo yung mga bagay na yan kasi gusto lang naman atang protektahan ng witness. Kaya nga ganun siya ayaw niya talaga na sumagot ng diretso doon sa tanong ni Senator Alan. Dahil syempre pinoprotektahan niya yung mga kung sino, yung mga pronotekta sa kanya.
Hindi pa po sure.
Hindi pa.
Pero what could be General Bato's possible role dun sa pattern ma'am sa Davao and nationwide?
Hindi ko muna po pwedeng sabihin yan. It's not really. I don't want to be making speculations at this point. I just want the people to understand and to know na ganun nga yung nangyayari noon sa DDS at mismo yung testigo ang nagsasabi nga na ganun din nung nangyayari ngayon.
Parang, so, ma'am, first time niyo po ba ito marinig from Bato? Kasi ma'am, pinoint out ni Senator Alan na kayo po ang Justice Secretary when he was under the Witness Protection Program. Hindi ko
pwede sa inyo i-share yung mga ganyan because there is a confidentiality provision under the WPP law. So yung kung ano yung alam ko while I was the DOJ Secretary, but I can confirm that he was that DS hitman, self-confessed hitman na pumasok sa WPP. Pero exactly ano nangyari nung nasa WPP siya, ano yung mga siniwalat niya while nasa WPP siya, I'm covered. The situation is covered by the confidentiality provision of the WPP.
Isa na lang, sorry. Kasi
yes.
kung daw po alam na ninyo ito noon pa, dapat nakasuhan nyo na sana si then Mayor Duterte.
I can explain that in due time, at the proper time. Kasi nga, that's still, again, part of the confidentiality provision. May dahilan po kung bakit hindi yun na nagawa. Hindi ko lang po talaga madetalye, masabi sa inyo na ano yung naging constraints noon kung bakit wala hong move on our part, nakasuhan siya at that point.
Okay, so you found the witness very credible, and the witness truly believes that what happened in Davao during his time is being replicated here, and which what he said the president is involved with what's happening now. But you're not yet taking that 100%. So what's holding you back on that?
It is not easy to openly accuse a sitting president. I have my suspicions, I have my impressions, and it's not just about what we heard from this witness, but it's also yung mga nakita namin nun, mga nalaman namin nun in 2009 when I spearheaded the the inquiry into the DDS.
With this development, magtatagal pa itong hearing at i-invite di ba next hearing si Vice Mayor Paulo?
Mag-i-issue po kami ng invitation, but I don't know kung sa next hearing na kaagad yun. Ang sinabihan ko po kasi yung mga witnesses namin dahil pabalik-balik na rin po dito, I actually asked for their understanding and indulgence na napupunta sila dito at hindi rin sila na-present, na next hearing, whether it's Tuesday or Wednesday, pinapacheck ko pa kung pwede meron kaming available space for the hearing, ay sila na muna para tapusin muna namin sila para hindi na ho sila pabalik-balik. And then after that set, then pwede na ho yung mga pinangalanan ng witness ngayon.
Ma'am, since ang problema natin is yung the doctrine of presidential immunity, naniniwala ba kayo na somebody who is courageous enough would come out to initiate, to revisit this doctrine?
I would not know. I was just actually, I'm just putting forth.
Ma'am kayo? Pag-iinitan na lang.
Lalo na po akong pag-iinitan yan. But anyway, yun lang po ang thinking ko, na siguro naman pwedeng i-revisit ang doktrina na yan. Otherwise, wala nang ibang solusyon kundi impeachment, people power, mga ganyan-ganyan. Na hindi naman sana hindi na humahantong tayo sa mga ganyang senaryo. Pero kung meron sana na legal proceedings, meron sanang basehan sa batas, sa Constitution, na pwede, then hindi ho tayo hahantong sa mga ganong proseso.
Who will initiate?
We don't know. I think we should. Yes.
Ano po sabi niya, may comment po sa Secretary of Justice Aguirre na yung daw statement ni Matubato ay lies and fabrication sa coach daw po yung mga sabi.
Wala po nagko-coach sa kanya. I can assure you that. Although linapitan nga po ako ng emissary na gusto niyang lumabas, never po, wala pong nagko-coach sa kanya. And that partly explains kung bakit meron din mga lapses din, meron din mga inconsistencies sa mga detalye. Kasi kung kinoach ho yan, di perfect sana yung testimonya niya. And then yung lies and fabrications, I am not capable of that. Sila yung gumagawa niyan. Then sa mga akusasyon nila sa akin na konektado daw ako sa droga. I am sure of myself. I don't do fabrication of witnesses, fabrication of testimonies, etc.
Bakit po bakit po kailangan confidential kung sino yung nagsama sa kanya dito, kung sino yung kanyang kausap at emisary sa inyo?
Mahirap. Siyempre, pinoprotektahan po niya. Pero ito pong masasabi ko at this point is hindi po ito LP. Wala pong kinalaman ng LP. Precisely, I was conscious and careful enough. Sana nung dinapitan ako, chinismis ko na sana yan sa mga kasamahan ko. Uy, meron na, lumabas na uli yung dating self-confessed hitman at magde-testify. Wala po akong pinagsabihan. Lately nga, si Senator Sani. You can ask yan. Sila Senator Drilon, sila Senator Kiko, Senator Bam, they don't know about this. Na lalabas na itong dating self-confessed DDS hitman na ito.
Kasi it was Senator Trillanes' office daw po who coordinated yung para sa kanya security.
Oo, yung pagdala dito, part siya ng tulong ni Senator Sani ay yung kanyang mga tao na ang nag-secure sa kanya. Nung papupunta na dito. Kasi sa kanino kami aasa? Hindi ko naman kayang i-secure siya. Eh yung mga security ko nga, nahihirapan na rin mag-secure sa akin.
So ma'am, nung binigit niyo po kay Senator Trillanes, siya na yung, how did it go ma'am? Siya po yung nag-volunteer or you asked?
Well, he was more than willing to help. He was more than willing to help, and I thank him. I sincerely, I'm expressing my sincere thanks to Senator Sani Trillanes na tumulong po siya sa pag-secure sa witness. Thank you, that's all. Thank you.
Witness will be staying here at the second.
Ito yung sinabi ko kanina na meron din palang McDo. So hindi lang siya talaga
Kasi ito naman ang